Well, here's a few news articles I thought were interesting. Um, so, Russia is becoming completely isolated from the world. Their money is frozen. They're about to miss their debt payments and have their ability to borrow money internationally completely destroyed as their bonds are removed down to junk status. And I must say, if I was Putin, I would feel pretty abused because we have frozen all his foreign money. And then we're punishing him for not paying his foreign debts. So to him, it probably seems awfully unfair. And now all the American companies have stopped doing business in Russia. So these foreign planes are just sitting there. So he's going to nationalize them. And this is typically, yes, they will probably default. I don't know what they can do with default. And so they're being turned into North Korea, a hermit kingdom that's no longer connected to the rest of the world. And so the logical thing to do, which is what people like Cuba and China in the past have done, is to just seize all the foreign property inside Russia and declare it national property, and beginning with planes. Since the foreign companies will not fly the foreign planes, he's going to seize them and then have Russian people drive the planes. The problem is he won't be able to get repair parts. So it's an issue. Well, he can try stealing crypto. That's certainly an option. That's how North Korea does it. Russia mostly does it with ransomware, which amounts to the same thing. Then they end up getting crypto. The problem is they're trying to sell the crypto, and they're discovering what anybody in the crypto business could have told you. The oligarchs are trying to sell $1 billion of crypto, and you can't do that. The crypto market is very thin. This is why all the crypto people are always telling you buy, 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 because it's all essentially a Ponzi scheme. If anybody tries to sell any significant amount, the price will plummet and they won't get their money. That's why people think they're rich because they have a lot of money in crypto, but it's likely that they won't be able to get the money out. Unless crypto becomes mainstream, which it looks like it is doing. But anyway, it's so he's now going to seize the foreign planes, and he's also said that patents from other countries don't count anymore, and you can just steal them from unfriendly countries. He hasn't yet stolen trademarks from unfriendly companies, but that would be the next logical thing to do, because there are all the McDonald's in Russia that are very popular, hundreds of them, and they've all shut down. So why don't the Russians just take them over and continue to run them and continue to call it McDonald's to satisfy their local citizens, where I think Putin has a public relations problem, right? I mean, it's getting to the point where I don't think he can conceal that there's a disaster from his citizens. He seems to have successfully concealed from them that he invaded Ukraine. Most of them believe the propaganda that there's just a limited police action that was justified because people in Ukraine were killing the local Russians or something like that. But when they can't get the hamburgers anymore, and when they go to the third week of their own Russian stock market not even opening because they don't dare let the price fall where it would fall, I think everybody knows something is wrong, and you'd probably comfort them if you opened the McDonald's again and things like that. So anyway, it is amazing what these sanctions have done. We have isolated Russia in a very extreme way, and they're beginning to do really extreme things in response. So Facebook is just amazingly bad at messaging. And so here they are they wanted to demonstrate their new Meta virtual reality booth. So what they're demonstrating is you get to live through the 9/11 catastrophe, surviving 9/11. Like, this is what somebody thought the greatest way to demonstrate how much fun it is to be in the metaverse is. Like, are you out of your mind? This is not fun. It's just going to offend people. This is why everybody hates Facebook. They keep doing stupid things like this. This is why Facebook tried to make their own cryptocurrency, and every nation on earth agreed, we do not trust Facebook to become the world's bank. They need to nobody would let them do it. Zuckerberg's just got a screw loose, Anyway, yeah. Anyway, so a lot of people are upset at daylight savings time, including the entire Senate unanimously voted to make daylight savings time permanent and stop changing the clock every few months, which is just irritating everybody for no good benefit. And there's evidence that it causes more car wrecks and more disease and everything else. And they said, why don't you just knock it off? So the Senate unanimously voted for it. So if the House goes along with it, maybe we'll knock it off, which would suit me fine, along with most Americans surveyed say they would rather not bother with this nonsense. So the dirty pipe exploit is very powerful. You can escalate to root on certain kernels of Linux. It turns out that almost no Android phones are actually using that kernel of Linux, just these two, Pixel 6 Pro and Samsung S22. So somebody figured, hey, made an exploit that did it and can totally take over the phone. It turns out part of that is still very difficult. Even with the dirty pipe escalation, there's another part of it that is difficult, and he is not exposing how to do that. He has a video demonstrating that he can do it, but he's not making the exploit totally public, which is good because there is no fix yet, I think, for those Android phones. And so there's the Ukrainian has got their Ministry of Defense or something. Some official in the Ukrainian government has called for amateur hackers to join them in attacking Russian assets, primarily, like Anonymous, through DDoS attacks. And people all over the world are doing that. The people that are doing this, their relatives and parents are kind of nervous, and rightly so. They're probably breaking laws. And people say, as a matter of fact, if you do this, obeying instructions from a military agent of Ukraine, you are no longer an innocent civilian. You are now an enemy combatant, and it is legal for Russia to treat you as that and attack you back. Not that I don't think Russia's going to do anything to these people who are just joining a DDoS army from their basement. But anyway, there are a bunch of people doing it, although it sounds like you don't do anything too exciting. You just, do what Anonymous does. You run a DDoS tool like a lot of other people, and then you just DDoS Russian sites. And it's not entirely clear that really does anybody any good to just DDoS some Russian sites, but it makes people feel like they're doing something. And anyway, it is quite popular. Anyway, I think that's enough of this. I'm going to stop the recording.